Mandela Day gives us some time to pause and reflect on where we are heading as a nation and how we are impacting our world. Our Vice Rector, Professor Koopman, states that the impact of universities is transformative. It is impact with a specific orientation, direction, and purpose. South Africa needs to become a country where there is dignity for all, healing for all, justice for all, freedom for all, and equality through equity for all. The invitation, especially now, is to do more as a country and as a university community. The outbreak of COVID-19 presents an opportunity for Stellenbosch University to be at the forefront of a new world order, which prioritizes the fundamental human and constitutional rights of the most marginalized, not just in Stellenbosch, but in the world. The dream of Nelson Mandela for all people to live with equal opportunity.
There's growing recognition across the world of the urgency of tackling a range of difficult, complex, and interrelated issues that impact human well-being. These issues include food, energy, water security, the spread of infectious diseases, developments in technology and medicine, climate change, and of course, education. It therefore becomes important to ponder the critical questions asked by the late Professor Russell Botman when he asks, how do we develop a pedagogy where the most marginalized are included economically and socially, and what is the role of education in our democracy? We need to therefore take a closer look at the world right now and highlight the fact that there is greater vulnerability and inequality, which is pulling people further apart. Maybe we need to do more than just reflect on social transformation and emancipation as the ways of knowing, and reflect on where education has not gone far enough.
It is perhaps the opportunity that we have annually to think one of the great legacy of really one of South Africa's greatest sons and heroes, and a reminder that really helps us to understand that all of us should, not only on Mandela Day, but every other day, make sure that where we can, we should make a tangible difference in the lives of others.
It is such a joy to celebrate the birthday of Rolihlahla Nelson Mandela. And at Stellenbosch University, we do it by focusing on the voluntary initiatives of our students.
Stellenbosch University creates a platform through which student-driven social impact takes place. It creates the machinery through which those initiatives are brought into being. For example, by allocating funding to it, by setting up networks across the university through which social impact needs are met.
Studies show that diversity in education, particularly on university campuses, improves so many things for students from all backgrounds, and this includes things like intellectual engagement, self-motivation, citizenship, and cultural engagement. But moreover, it improves skills like critical thinking skills, problem solving, and writing. And this clearly must be a significant benefit of engaging across boundaries of difference. And I think one can really think about the colloquial term of paying it forward. That says it all. Mandela Day, of course, is a daily engagement for every single day, every 365 days of the year. If it's simple, if we are privileged enough to be secure in multiple ways, in terms of healthcare, economically, educationally, it is crucial when we live in a country like South Africa where there is such a vast gap between rich and poor, and even the middle class and poor. And when we're dealing with such gross inequality, it's part of our responsibility as citizens to engage in activities that address inequality and human suffering.
Ek dink deur om betrokke te wees met die gemeenskap, maak dit die pad vir jou baie duidelik as individu in terme van hoe jy jou deelname maak in die samelewing. Jou impak is nie net beperk tot en met jou leer studierigting nie, maar ook dat daar baie ander vermoë is wat jy wel het en wat jy ontlok deur om betrokke te wees in die gemeenskap.
Having a broad understanding of giving back really can, kind of like give it a bit of a better or nuanced understanding to it.
Is it important to only give back on Mandela Day, or is it important to give back every other day of the year? With the large numbers of inequality within our country, giving back is incredibly important on Mandela Day, to devote those 67 minutes to helping those less fortunate than you. But the need for helping others exists 365 days of the year, every other day.
Being part of the change, or being part of the solution is probably a better way to say it, is a lifestyle change. I think if you really are serious about seeing community upliftment or seeing an impact made in the youth or whichever project you're involved in, it's more than just a once-off thing. It's a lifestyle change that happens. Your budget changes, the way you spend your time changes, your relationships and your friendships, they change. And I think if your why is clear enough, you know why you're doing it. Those sacrifices are easy to make, and it's such a joy to make them. But I think the main focus is really to live a lifestyle of uplifting those around us and serving people and making sure that all of us are on a road that's leading to a better life for people around us.
So I think Stellenbosch University is very well positioned to take up the task of driving student involvement in society. I think if we start just from the three spheres of our activities as academics, teaching and learning, research and community engagement, and I think in terms of the country's trajectory of reconciliation and restitution, I think Stellenbosch University is especially well positioned, and also as a sought after and leading research-led university on the continent, I think we're also well positioned to offer leadership in this particular role. So I think we're well positioned also in the landscape geographically. Rural communities have been especially marginalized over the years. Our research agenda has not always included small-scale land users, for instance, land users of color, outside of commercial sectors. That's not been our focus strongly in the past. A lot of that has changed over the last years. And again, I think, especially in our agri-science faculty, I think we're well positioned to make a contribution in this particular way.
Universities have a social responsibility to also use our talents to the benefits of those in society that are not as privileged as ourselves, to develop well-rounded thought leaders who have broadened their horizons and feed what they've learned and the experience that they've had back into society. What is the role of education and its purpose? What is its value if it cannot respond to the common good? How should the university contribute to our knowledge of the world?
This opportunity afforded to us by the wise Madiba allows us to understand not only our contribution towards society, but also allows us to understand something of the dynamics of the South African society. And as a university community, we feel extremely honored that we can be part of this initiative again, and we welcome the involvement of our staff and students over all our campuses. Stellenbosch University is involved through our students specifically on two levels on a number of communities, locally and nationally. On the first level, our students make a tangible difference through teaching and learning and through what we understand as service learning, and that is that we take our in-class knowledge and we enhance that through our involvement in service of society. And on the second level, we encourage our students to remain active citizens, and that one of the ways that they can do that is, of course, through student volunteerism. And this is where today, through MGD, we can play our role and play a pivotal part in making sure that indeed, through our role as active citizens, our students and our staff can engage in meaningful ways in service of society.
Stellenbosch University also facilitates and encourages student-driven social impact initiatives through allocating various resources to those initiatives, through the university's research, its teaching and learning, and its social impact initiatives. one can identify various ways in which the university is committed to those sustainable development goals.
Ek glo dat Mandela Dag is nie net uniek tot die dag self nie. Ek dink 'n mens vier die geleentheid dat ons ook ander kan help en dat mense wel ook noodsaaklikhede het in die lewe wat belangrik is om na te kyk. Ons het baie sosiale uitdagings en ek dink om volhoubaar te wees in die samelewing moet ons kyk om elke dag iets goed vir ander te kan doen. En Mandela Dag is net 'n teken dat ons wel in die regte rigting is, maar dat dit wel meer gereeld kan gebeur.
And when it comes to advancing engaged citizenship in any sphere at that, I think what comes with that is already being part of society and not your own, fraternity, if I can put it like that. And already that's one of the ways students can grow themselves by actually tapping into what exactly they want to achieve through being an engaged citizenship. That is immersing yourself through what are the important things that you as an individual need to address within your society. So I think that first day of actually being in the space is the one that actually is eye-opening and somewhat gives you an idea of what exactly am I getting myself into, how can I actually amend what I have already planned when it comes to volunteerism. It's a big eye-opener trying to ensure that you don't put yourself into it, but rather immerse yourself in what the needs are of the people that you're engaging with.
During lockdown last year, when all the students at Stellenbosch University had to begin working from home, I lost a little bit of my sense of purpose when it came to studying. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue with law, if I wanted to be an attorney, because I lost that sense of community. I didn't have my fellow peers and colleagues around me, I wasn't engaging with my lecturers, and I felt quite lost. In 2021, I decided to take on practical legal training and working at the Stellenbosch Law Clinic, and part of my duties is to work directly with community members and with my peers and with attorneys at the clinic. And that has completely restored my purpose, my motivation to continue studying, my motivation to qualify as an attorney and to continue giving back to my community. It's given me a sense of purpose, being entrusted with people's very personal issues and difficulties in life has provided so much motivation. And so I think that giving back to the community and engaging with your community is so incredibly important, because without community, we aren't humans.
The complexity of the social issues and problems that we face and engaging with them and trying to learn more about them made me realize how tricky and complex the world is and the social dilemmas that we face. The cool thing was that the third thing I realized reflecting was that if you kind of engage long enough with these issues, your role in them becomes clearer, and there's a sense of clarity that starts to come to the front when you keep on engaging with those issues. I think one of the main things that you really benefit from engaging in a series of social impact projects or in a certain program is that you're confronted with different worldviews and different scenarios, things that you aren't used to growing up with. I think that is possibly one of the most valuable experiences that you can have as a student, is to be challenged to think broader than the mindset you grew up in, to think outside the culture that you're used to. And I think that engaging with different perspectives, it teaches you a lot. Sometimes it edifies certain beliefs that you hold, sometimes it really strengthens core values, and other times it encourages you to think laterally, to think differently, and in the end it really leads to a process of growth.
There are opportunities again for us to ask questions in our class. I mean, even if you were a law student or a student in any other department or faculty, I think just a lecture, for instance, on the Sustainable Development Goals. What do they mean? I also was thinking that, one of the things I think we as lecturers can do
is to not just teach on the goals, not to just demonstrate them in the way that we do our research and speak to our students, but also to challenge our students to ask them questions, critical questions like what's missing from the Sustainable Development Goals, asking them things like what happens after the Sustainable Development Goals, what if we meet them, are they prepared in their training for that kind of reality, what if we don't meet them, and so on and so forth. So to critically engage with them.
So now with a short course on advancing engaged citizenship, Stellenbosch universities, both national and international, have an opportunity to not only to learn 7 critical skills, but also to give back their time to hundreds of national virtual courses, thanks to MGD's partnership with For Good. It is the first of its kind where Stellenbosch University social work students, for example, can offer volunteer support to kids in Lanseria and Alexandria and other national causes as part of their curricular work. At MGD, we are super excited to enable these groundbreaking connections across the country.
Myns insiens is dit belangrik vir persone wat reg studeer om bewus te wees van die sosiale konteks waarin ons werk, as ook die humanitêre sfeer van hervormende en regstellende aksie. Die program het my die geleentheid gegee om in samewerking met kenners 'n platform daar te stel vir potgoeie en kritiese interaksies waar studente gesprekke kan voer en informasie kan bekom oor probleme wat ons gesamentlik as 'n gemeenskap in die gesig staar, soos onbewustelike vooroordeel, menstruasieregte en basiese menseregte. Dit het my verder in staat gestel om dit wat ek geleer het oor die akkurate bekomming en beskikbaarmaking van betroubare inligting in die kort kursus toe te pas in my studentegemeenskap. Ek voel dit is belangrik om studente te mobiliseer om soveel as moontlik betroubare inligting te bekom en ons eie vaardighede en kennis aan te wend om die status quo van sosiale ongelykheid te kan aanspreek. As studente bevind ons dat ons vaardighede kan aanwend om ander te bemagtig en deur ons kry dit die beloning om te sien dat ons aksies werklike impak kan hê, dat elke klein bydrae 'n verskil maak. Ons verkry meer inligting oor ons gemeenskappe en die probleme en struikelblokke wat hulle ervaar en sodoende is ons beter in staat om gesamentlik die probleme aan te spreek. In my ondervinding is die algemene opinie onder studente dat ons nie net behoort terug te gee op Mandela Dag nie. Elke dag is 'n geleentheid om terug te gee en 'n verandering te maak. Ek glo ferm daarin dat wanneer jy iets goed vir 'n ander persoon doen, dit 'n sneeubal-effek skep en die hele gemeenskap uit jou een positiewe daad kan baat.
Whilst also completing this course, it has also allowed me to hone in on more of my soft skills in terms of juggling my personal aspects of my life, academics, as well as completing my community service and social impact. And that in order to see the greater benefits, I need to be actively involved in all of them. And I think also it should not just be limited to doing things outside of my community, but I should also look within, and hence why I had taken a tutoring job at the law faculty. Mandela Day should be a stepping stone to raising awareness that if you're able to, if you have the talent, if you have the resources, that you should be going out and seeing where in your community there is a need for help.
After the sanitary pad project and the winter clothing drive that we had in my residence Goldfields, I discovered a sense of appreciation for everything that I had, because I realized even things as sanitary pads, I take it for granted, and there are some people out there who can't even afford one because it's so expensive, we get taxed on it, and I really discovered that, I should stop neglecting everything that has been given to me.
MGD creates a platform for students to live out their passion for service. Some of my most beautiful memories at Stellenbosch University were being in service with MGD. I have a heart for service, but I believe that all the professional aspects that I know about community service I have learned from MGD. Community service is not only meant for Mandela Day, but for every day of the year. I love the fact that South Africans get involved in service on Mandela Day to bring a change in our local communities. However, I want to challenge everyone to take it a little bit further and do it on a regular basis, more than just one day of the year.
Nelson Mandela lived for a society of dignity, of healing of all wounds, of justice for all, freedom for all, and of equality for all. Through the work of our students, that vision is advanced. Our students make, through their voluntary initiatives, a contribution towards a society of dignity.
We also need to explore the challenge of creating a more equitable world, and according to our President Ramaphosa, our new economy must be founded on fairness, empowerment, justice and equality. The coronavirus pandemic has illuminated the critical role of socioeconomic rights in securing a dignified life for all and in countering social economic inequalities. However, there is a silver lining to this dark cloud, according to Professor Sandy Liebenberg. It is the hope that the short-term efforts we now make to protect these rights in a crisis will translate into long-term public and private resource mobilization for securing accessible, affordable, and quality public goods and services for all. As the pace and complexity of our global society increases exponentially, there's an urgent need to realign the design and the infrastructure of education with the needs of the people our education systems are intended to serve.
During the past few years, it's been incredibly difficult for everyone. Unemployment is at an all-time high, homelessness is at an all-time high, so it's become incredibly important, even more so, to give back. Therefore, what the Stellenbosch Law Clinic aims to do is to provide pro bono assistance to members of the Boerland community who cannot afford legal representation, to be able to help them with whatever needs they have, whether it be an eviction, whether it be an unfair dismissal, or even domestic violence. In this way, we facilitate giving back to those less fortunate within our community. Often, when people come to us, it's their absolute last resort. And by providing people with legal assistance who are in these positions, the Law Clinic gives back. Every little gesture adds up, every small act of kindness adds up in the end. So I'd like to implore every one of us to go out and do something kind for someone today. Not only on Mandela Day, but tomorrow and the day after that too.
You won't only demonstrate your feelings towards your partner on Valentine's Day. Hopefully not. You will show your love and appreciation for your partner during the course of the year. And I'd like to think about Mandela Day in the same way. Although I think it's good that there's a focus for 67 minutes on the 18th of July on serving your community, I do think it needs to be an embedded part of every citizen of South Africa, i.e. active citizenship. Every person in South Africa needs to fulfill a role in their local community through which they facilitate social justice. They assist in redistributing rights and responsibilities to those who need it most.
I believe that we shouldn't only use Nelson Mandela Day as an opportunity to give back, because if we had to look at the current situation in South Africa, there's looting happening in Durban and Johannesburg, and I have friends and colleagues which currently do not have access to food or water. So why should I wait till Nelson Mandela Day to help them? I feel like if we can open our eyes and be open to the situations that are currently happening, we should address them immediately, and if best, try to prevent them, and let Nelson Mandela Day not only be that one opportunity to give back, but use that opportunity to inspire us to give every chance that we get. With COVID-19, it has been so difficult to physically give back. However, Stellenbosch University has provided us with initiatives where we can give back to society from the comfort of our own home.
For Good is a social impact ecosystem that enables organizations to connect their stakeholders to development needs. As the leading volunteering and goods donation platform in South Africa, we provide volunteers and organizations with incredible opportunities to give back by enabling general and skills-based volunteering opportunities and funding experiences. We provide an innovative dual approach to volunteering. In short, we create giving experiences.
On this Mandela Day, let us deeply reflect on the quote by bell hooks. The classroom, with all its limitations, remains a location of possibility. In that field of possibility, we have the opportunity to labor for freedom, to demand of ourselves and our comrades an openness of mind and a heart that allows us to face reality, even as we collectively imagine ways to move beyond boundaries, to transgress. This is education as the practice of freedom.